Okay, so here today to have a test ride on a T120 Bonnie. Was hoping for a speed twin, but there's none available, so as the guy said, have a try on this, see if I like it, and then it'll most likely mean that I like the twin. So looking forward to this. It's been a bike I wanted to have a go on for a while, so let's get ourselves out. Oh, it's nice. Bit of a different riding position for me, that. Especially compared to being on the Sprint. It's nice though, really nice. Get that mirror. There's adjusted. Oh, it does sound nice. Unfortunately, it's a bit rainy today, and something which I'll talk about in another video about having all the right gear. I actually forgot my boots today. I have to close the visor down. So I am wearing a pair of boots, but I don't have the same sole protection, you know, the anti-crush. Nothing for my ankles, so it is going to be a really steady ride today. Do not recommend riding without the appropriate footwear. Unfortunately, I wasn't going to travel an hour back home to do it, and I'll just literally have a really steady ride out. So I've got an hour. I've not checked what time it is actually. Might do that. Okay, so yeah, we'll get pulled up, and then I better just check the time, because I didn't check the time before I departed. But saying that, it don't matter, because where I'm going, it's roughly, I'm going to head down to Bakewell. I'm in Chesterfield. It was Triumph World in Chesterfield that's lent me the bike. This is part of my test riding process for me purchasing a new bike. So as you've seen my other video about common mistakes that we beginners make, one of them being not test riding bikes before you purchase one, which I did do with my Smart Pillar 125. Loved the bike, but it actually killed my backside because it was very uncomfortable for long journeys. So this is the thing, you could have a 20-minute whip around, but what you really want is a good couple of hours just to get used to it and just solidly ride that bike and do it. But you know what, I am enjoying this. It's a bit different, and this is the thing, one of the things that I was always told was ride as many bikes as you possibly can, you know, before you make those purchases. And I have to say, having already purchased my bike which was a Sprint 1050, I highly recommend it, because there's different bikes, different riding positions, and yeah, different bikes, different riding positions, and you want to see what works for you. Like, this is a really comfortable position, but it's what you want to do. And as discussed in my other video also, you need to know what it is you want to ride for. Is it commuting? Is it doing touring? Is it cruising? Are you just wanting to be going like slow and steady and having a bit of fun? Are you wanting to be like ripping it up and going a bit hooligan, you know? That will determine what bike you have. Like, I really want the Speed Twin. I love the idea of the Speed Twin, but this is actually, it's nice and comfy. I do like the look of the Bonnies. I just prefer the more sporty styling of the Speed Twin. And there's some nice options for the Speed Twin, but at the same time you can get the old-fashioned like panniers on the back, like the leather, you know, almost like the leather box panniers at the back, which look really good. And I could just, you know, with something like this, you could just imagine having nice rides out to the coast, nice and steady, nice and chilled, just enjoying that freedom of being on a bike, but at the same time it's nothing too heavy. So tell you what, let's pull in, because I think I've gone the wrong way. Okay, so again, usual me going the wrong way. Can't do anything right, me, can I? Anyway, so what do I like about this bike? I like the torque. I do love this engine. I really do love this engine. So I'm obviously going to like the Speed Twin for that. I like the riding position, and I do like the comfy seat. I love the tone of the bike. I do like the aesthetics of the bike as well, even though I'm like swaying more to a twin. Just on an aesthetic front, I would really like the Bonnie, to be fair. I do like the clocks on it, you know, again, aesthetics of clocks, you know, they've kept it traditional with the needles, but then, you know, you've got the digital aspect that you require, and you can get through the modes, and you know, you've got your range and whatnot, and your fuel, so that's fine. But yeah, generally it's a really comfy. I'm a taller rider, I'm 6'2". My heels are hanging a little bit, but it's nothing terrible. I'm sure you could probably get a slightly higher seat, maybe. I'm sure there'll be somewhere, whether it's aftermarket or through Triumph. The mirrors, do you like the mirrors? I think they're pretty good. Excuse me, I can't say that there's anything I don't particularly like about the bike so far in terms of riding it. You know, it feels sure enough in the corners, it's responsive, it's quick enough, you've got no issue with overtaking. You've obviously got the added option of the rate mode as just a bit of a support. So this here, as with many, when you do it, it will flash, you can see. But when you have it on when you actually have it on main beam, it will just automatically lock in place. It's not one of these you've got to flick forward. It will just automatically lock in place, which is really good, to be fair. It's just handy. I have rode the ones, and you know, it's what you're used to at the end of the day. I'm just used to flicking a rollover switch and that, and it's having the pass as a, you know, this is just a flashing one, and then that's it, and then just flicking it into main beam. So it'd be better if it wasn't time of year that it is. It'd be better if I knew where I was going. Could enjoy the roads a bit more, wouldn't it? I was supposed to be finding quite open roads, and all I seem to be doing is getting myself into villages. That's me missing my turns and not knowing where I'm going. Should really get like a Bluetooth headset or something so that I can just have the sat nav at least speaking to me in my ear. If I can't have it mounted on the handlebars, something to look to. Actually, probably something to look to for the next test ride when I do the next one, because this is what's let me down on the last couple of test rides. I don't know where I'm bloody going. But I am really enjoying this bike. I would like to just get onto something to open it up a bit, but then at the same time with the weather. Excuse me. But yeah, so this is the 1200 twin, which is in the speed twin, but it's just been slightly detuned and the power brought down to just be a bit more torquey, because at the end of the day this is more of a cruiser bike. But as discussing with Jack at Triumph World in Chesterfield, you know, you can change the tyres should you want to, just to give it that improved performance. But then obviously the suspension setup for this is not set up the same as a twin for the cornering performance. So whilst it feels sure-footed, you're not going to be able to ride this as hard as a twin. But that's not what this bike is about, and this is the conundrum that I'm in at the minute. Do I want to buy a new or nearly new bike that is something like this, because I would like a bit of a potter about, steady ride, you know, just nice gentle rides and stuff like that, and just enjoy where it is that I'm going and do a bit of touring? Or do I want the new bike to be the one that's got the performance that you're after, you know, like the Speed Twin? It would have it, and just have that more sporting performance ride, so that you go out, have a bit of a tear about session, but maybe not have it to ride for a lengthy time. But then the Speed Twin's got a similar seat, so I'm sure you could do that. Having sat on one, it feels as comfy as a Bonnie, but like I say, it's just set up that way. But I just don't know, because like I had a test ride on the GSX-S FAL and I really enjoyed it, and then it's like, oh, I don't know what I want. Do I want a 4-pot? Do I want a 3-pot? Do I want a twin? Do I want a parallel twin? Do I want a V-twin? What tone do I want? What kind of ride do I want? And this is why I definitely recommend that you have these test rides of bikes, and you don't just go aesthetics, which is something that I've done. But this is it. We don't want people to make the same mistakes, which is why we put these videos out. You really need to be test riding bikes, and as many bikes as you can, in order to get a feel for what it is that you want. I mean, like this with the torque there in what, 3rd gear, and it just pulls, it's fine. You can just sit it there, You can just leave it in a higher gear and it'll just, the torque will just pull itself through. There's no issue, and it makes an absolutely gorgeous tow. And this is the kind of setting for this bike. You know, these corners, this road, it's technical enough to enjoy and have a ride, but you're not out there trying to, you know, proper tear it up. The bike's not made for it, and we're loving it, absolutely loving it. This is what you want to be enjoying it out on a nice country ride, get to the other end, get to the pub. Obviously you can only have a coffee, you can't have a pint, but you know what I mean, get yourself in for a pub dinner, really enjoy it. And I have really, oh crap, I have found something I don't like about the bike. I've found it, unless it's wrong. Hang on, let's press this I button. I, miles per gallon, 12, there we go. So the clock's wrong for one, but there is a clock. Could do with I'm used to having a separate clock. Could have done with that. So with the Bonnie, it does come with dual Brembo brakes at the front, so you do feel confident in your stopping. At the same time, they have rotated the radiator as well, which is what they've done on the Twin and the Bonnie, which I think is brilliant, because then you've obviously got the fake air fins, but it keeps it looking with that retro style. As said, with the black, you know, all your levers, all your pegs are changed into a full matte black. But this bike really does just look classic. It really does look like the real deal. And if this is what you're after, and you're after the retro, like you can get, I believe on the Twin, LED, so I presume you can do it on the Bonnie as well, which is something, you know, if you want in the bright light, but you know, you do get to keep it in the proper retro styling. You know, all the injection system looks like it will be all carbs, but it is just absolutely lovely. Okay, so yeah, you can see here on the clocks, you've got the option here. If we were to press the mode button on the right hand side, we can change that from rain to road, and then obviously we'll change it back given what the weather conditions are. You've obviously got your mileage for your fuel indicator, or your usual lights that you will get. As I said, we've got it, it's in the low beam, you see it. Once you flick it over onto high beam, once you click, it just stays in and then you're on. It won't have to mess, whereas in you from the low, it won't lock in place and it will just release instantly. Full adjustment on both the brake and the clutch levers. Brakes do feel good on the bike given the weather so far. I've got no issue. I believe it's got ABS. It's something I'll have to check and I'll post that in the video, but given it's a Triumph, I would imagine so. It's got that usual quality feel and fit and finish that a Triumph has, and with the light at the front, you know, it does look stunning. And this is hereby where I'm struggling. Do I want just a cruiser, or do I want the Speed Twin? Let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think we should go for, Speed Twin or for the Bonnie? You know, if this is what we go for, it is going to be down, I think, between the Triumph and the Z900 RS from Kawasaki, just because I'm a taller rider. But I am loving this bike. I can just imagine having like the leather panniers at the back and just taking some really nice rides out with that seat as well. Like I said, our lass pegs are low down for taking her pillion. I think she'll really enjoy it. I imagine the sound on this is a bit terrible now just because we're up here with the wind. As you can see, it's an absolutely lovely view, and this beautiful pub here, Peacock Pub, overlooking that, is somewhere I won't mind trying to come one day. Alright guys, so let's get ourselves back to the shop. Okay, so the rain's starting to come down a bit more. Basically found a route that's sort of just double back from where I've been for the last 10 minutes, and goes on from there. So I've just got to try and work myself out to try and get myself back now. A lot of crap on the road around here. It's farming country, narrow roads, so just taking it nice and steady, you know, not going to be pushing it to the limit. There's not enough room really for two vehicles on this road. It is a bit narrow. Well, there is, but it's tight and you have to slow down. Obviously it's the hills as well that we were coming up before, so good opportunity to discuss the braking. It's like, yeah, very confident in that. No issues there on the front brake. Let's try the back brake. As you expect with the back brake, doesn't stop you as much, but yeah, feels good. Feel the ABS kicking in then, so you know, given the weather, kind of to be expected. So I'm going to shut up for a bit because I don't really need to tell you much more about this bike. You know, facts and specs and stuff we'll put up later on in the video, but ultimately just, yeah, just enjoy it. I hope that the tone comes through. Just enjoy the bike as I am. See you later, guys.